The world is literally trying to test me right now, and this is either my redemption moment or it's the beginning of the end. So, anyway, hi guys, welcome back to Overthinking and Underperforming. Hope everybody's doing great. As always, I am battling something, and I'm here to share because I feel like a lot of us are doing this blindly, and I genuinely feel like the last 20 years of my life, I'm 20 years of age, the last 20 years of my life have literally been a lie, and nothing I've achieved or done or anything has been for me. And I just feel like something is just a bit off. And I feel like I just figured everything out. Okay. So basically, first of all, this is gonna be like a huge story time. But basically I wanna say like a couple of weeks ago I was just kinda sat down and I was just staring at the wall and trying to figure out my life. Because I think for the last couple of months I've just been really stuck in this procrastination state of mind. Like I just can't get out of it. Like my days are just filled with me trying to do stuff and not doing stuff or not even attempting to do it just because I'm procrastinating, right? And obviously procrastination is a very normal thing. Everyone procrastinates. It's not a foreign concept. But I think in the past I've just been so good with procrastination, or so good with like procrastination comes and then it goes, and then eventually we figure out we actually have to do stuff because it's not gonna get done if we don't do anything. But like this time around, it's like it's been 2 months of me being in uni and I feel like I still have no structure, I have no purpose, I have no anything, and I'm just trying to figure out how did we get here, because I feel like for the last couple of months that's where I've been, like just like trying to figure out why it's so hard for me to do anything. That literally sounds like I just need to go to therapy. Maybe I just need to go to therapy. I don't know. Anyway, so story time. Basically, I sat down and I was thinking about my life. And you know when you have like a small thought and then for some reason it develops into this whole like one thing leads to another, then you're going back into your childhood, then you're analyzing all these things and you're like, what's happening? And basically, I'm saying long story short, like this isn't about to be a 20-minute long episode. Anyway, basically, I was looking back at like my childhood, and I think a lot of people, this isn't just a me thing, but I think a lot of people do this blindly and no one actually realizes that this is what it is. But a lot of people tie their identity to the things they achieve and the things they're planning to achieve, or their goals and all of these things. Like a lot of people tie their identity to that, right? And I'd say I've lived most of my life or all of my life tying my identity to everything that I achieve. And I think sometimes I take it too far because I do realize that, when I'm not doing something with my life, when things aren't going my way, it immediately makes me feel like I am not worth anything. Like I literally should just jump into a bush and just like live there for the rest of my life because nothing matters anymore. Do you see what I mean? It was just too much. And I think I've just been like that from a very young age. And for me, growing up, I've always been kind of mediocre at everything I did. And I started to think maybe this is why I have a problem with, trying to be good at everything or trying to be like exceptional. Because for me, like me mattering, that doesn't feel like a word. Me, like my self worth and me feeling like I'm enough equates to me being exceptional. If I'm not exceptional, then I'm not enough. That's just how it works in my head. And that's just how it's been working for 20 years. And I'm trying to shake it. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. I don't know. But anyway, I was saying that, as a kid, I was always kind of mediocre at everything that I did, right? And I was always not even mediocre, but it was kind of like, I was good enough to be great if I wanted to. If I put in the effort, I was always good enough to be great. Like when it came to track, like I was good enough to be great. Like, teachers and like, people would be like, Abby, like you really need to hop on this. Like you could be great one day. And when it comes to swimming or when it comes to really anything, I was good enough to be great. And it sounds like it's a good thing, but it really, I think that is where the start of problems came, because it was kind of like I was expected to be good at almost because I was kind of good. I was the kid, like you could put on a bike and the same day I learned how to ride a bike. Like I was the kid you give rollerblades, I learned how to ride the rollerblades in literally 2 seconds. Roller blades in 2 seconds. Like you give me anything and I'll be good at it. Just give me a couple of seconds. And I feel like that screwed me very much so in my life. So basically, I think over time, I kind of became obsessive with making sure that I was able to keep up with this narrative of me being good at stuff or being good enough to be great at stuff, you know? Because over time, if you're just known to be that kid who you could kind of like throw in every sports team, every club, every whatever it is, like I was that kind of like filler for anything. Like if you needed anything, just throw me in there and it will make sense and I'll probably even be great at it, you know, like good enough to not carry, but like good enough to feel like I belong there, if that makes sense, or look like I belong there. And I think over time, I kind of carried that mentality of I must be good at everything. And if I'm not good at everything, then I'm not fulfilling who I'm supposed to be. And I'm not fulfilling this idea of like, I don't know, I'm just not fulfilling anything and I'm nothing, you know? And it took me a while to actually clock that that was how my mind kind of works. But anyway, a lot of like me being good at stuff wasn't just from, you know, physical or like sports or like school or whatever it is. It was also to do with people and relationships that I had, you know, with friends. I was always trying to be a good enough friend for that person. Like I really wanted to be the best version of a friend that that person could have. I really wanted to be the best daughter that my parents could have. I really wanted to be the best sister that my brother and sister could had, you know. Aside from I had a really bad brat phase. I don't even know what that was. I don't know what possessed me. I thank God he has delivered me from that because I think I just needed to be thrown in a bush. But aside from that, I was really just that person who lived for everyone else. Like I never lived for myself. And I over time and I think this is where my obsession with kind of like the self-development world kind of came from because I think I was always just trying to understand people better and understand myself better and like understand feelings better and emotions and just start like connecting stuff and understanding humans in general, right? And part of me did that because I wanted to be able to better myself and like, I don't know, find a way to be the best version of myself. But then I also think I was doing it because I wanted to be able to understand people in a way that benefits them, you know? I wanted to be able to, you know, in situations where people are angry at me or they do me dirty or they hurt me or whatever it is, I wanted to understand why they were doing it just so I could validate, you know, the whole idea that it has nothing to do with me, you know? Because a lot of the times, and it is true, a lot of the times if someone does something to you, even if it's messed up and it feels like it is directed to you, a lot of the times they're just a victim of their own problems and it actually has nothing to do with you because if they were okay they wouldn't be doing that to you, you know. And I think over time, because I had that mentality and because I had that understanding, it was just very easy for me to be walked all over, you know. Like my parents used to tell me all the time, like, Gabby, can you need to actually have some kind of reaction, you need to have some kind of boundaries. Just because you say it has nothing to do with you doesn't mean it's okay. And over time, like my parents, even till this day, sometimes like because they know that the way I used to be, like they'll like sense certain things and they're like, Gabby, I think you need to put your foot down or something like that, you know. But anyway, that's so with when it came to things that I was doing, whether it's school, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever it is, and when it came to like my social life, I was always just trying to be the best version that I could be and the best person that anyone needed to be because I guess from a young age I just kind of learned that being good at everything means that I am enough. So over time, I guess I kind of started to maintain this mentality and started to like really this mindset was just planted so deeply inside my brain and deeply inside every single cell of me that I really couldn't shake. And it's weird because it's like as time passed, you know, when you kind of have like, for example, a situation where someone's done you dirty, right? And it's like you feel the emotions of someone doing you dirty and you know you're hurt, you're angry or whatever it is. And but like because I'm trying to not make whatever is fueling their fire, because I know it has nothing to do with me, right? So whatever it is that it has to do with, I'm not gonna react, right? Because I know it has nothing to do with me. But it's like I still keep all of those feelings. It's not like I turn them off. It's just that I control my reaction, but the feeling is always there, you know? So I think over time, it just kind of like built up, built up, built up, built up, you know? And I think I really developed some kind of, you know, like what they say, like if you just keep filling the glass, one day the glass is just gonna overflow and then there you are. And I feel like that's very much my situation where like I just kept like bottling all this anger and bottling all these feelings. And then one day, not even one day, I feel like 2024 came and I just feel like I became a new human being. And I just have never been so angry in my life. And it was just very much concerning. Like, I'm never the type of person to raise my voice at people. Like, I'm never the type of person to cause problems. I'm always just a neutral person, or like the mediator. Like, I want everyone to be okay. I'm not the type of person to ever start anything, even though I have every right to start something. So, I don't know, but 2024 came and I just became literally the angriest person ever. And it's weird because, like, when you do like you make such an effort to hide something. Like, when, say you're having a bad day and say you're sad, but you don't want people to know you're sad because, like, you don't want to, I don't know, contribute to their problems, or you don't want to, I don't know, you just don't want people to know that you're sad. But there's that one person who just knows you a bit too well, and he's like, then they'll be like, are you okay? Like, you're lying. You're not okay. Stop saying you're okay, because you're not okay, you know? And it was kind of one of those moments where it's like, I'd been so angry, but at the same time, I'm not used to being this angry person. I'm not used to expressing my anger. I just don't know what that looks like because I've never done it. So all of a sudden, I was like, okay, let me just keep all of this inside. Like, let me not be that person who explodes and becomes problematic or whatever. And then there was a time where, like, I think the start of 2024 was really trying. And then my mom was just like, Gabby, I just feel like you're a very angry person. And I was just like, whoa. And it's like moments like that where you're kind of like taken back and you're like, so this thing is really real. Like, this doesn't exist in my head. Anyway, for most of the year, I don't think I've properly understood why I was so angry at the world, or like why I literally wanted to fight. When I tell you guys anger, like, I mean wanting to literally fight anyone in the world. Not fight, not physically fight, but like, I just wanted to shout at everyone. Like, I just wanted to scream at everyone. I just wanted to like not talk to anyone. Like, so many things would just stress me out. And it's like it became so easy for me to be triggered. Anything would trigger me. But at the same time, because I was still in that state of keep everything inside, it was just very like, it was still kind of like building, and got to a place where it was, I don't know, a bit too much. But anyway, I was trying to figure out where this anger was coming from and why it was so intense, because I was looking at my life and I was like, bad things happen, but nothing has ever happened that's that insane that should make me as angry as I am. Like, you would think that someone came in and, like, I don't know, jailed me and impersonated me for a year and like ruined my life. And now I've been released and now I'm this angry. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I was trying to figure it out, and I was trying to like understand, like, how did we get here? How did we get to a point where everything is just angering me so much? Anyway, this is all gonna come together in the end. So if you think I'm just talking, I swear, just it's gonna come together in the end. Anyway, so start of the year, I was still in school. It was the last semester before I came back for summer break. And I think because I had a lot of structure, and because I had, like, things were still moving in my life, it was okay. Like, I was fine. It was kind of like the anger was still there, but I had structure, so it was easy to just like look past it, right? Then summer comes. Summer comes and everything in my life just changes. Obviously, summer break, you don't have to wake up at certain hours. Like, you can sleep, you can have fun with your friends, you can do this, you can do that. You're just very much chilling. And I remember I had such a hard time chilling. And I don't know. I don't know. I just had a hard time. And it kind of came to a point where I was like, okay, I was really trying to understand the anger. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just try to actually lose it for a second. Because I was like, maybe that's the answer, right? Maybe I just need to feel this anger. Maybe I just need to feel all these feelings, let them, do what they need to do, and then we can move on, and then I can be a normal person again, right? So I start this like journey, and that's when like the villain arc of If You Were There in season one. Um, I don't know if I made it a whole episode, but anyway, point is I had like this villain arc, where I decided, like, now I'm going to just be, me, myself, and I, we're just going to take over the world and we're just gonna live life for me, and that's it. And I started to live this villain arc, and the thing never ended. It like never ended. Like, you just keep going and going and going and going, and you're just asking yourself, how far does this anger go? How deep does it actually go? How much do I need to express for it to actually release me right now so that I can move on with my life? Then fast forward to 2 weeks ago when I was staring at a wall and thinking about all of this. I kind of started to realize that a lot of this comes from the fact that I was trying to be like a very, perfect person. So I was like, okay. And I was always trying to achieve all of these things and be great at everything that I did and like do more than I'm supposed to be doing. So I was like, okay, what if we don't do that? What if we actually just be average for a second? Because I was looking at my life and I was like, okay, look, I'm 20 years of age. I'm in university. I really have no other obligation other than to give university my all. So why am I sat there, even if I'm going to my classes, even if I'm waking up? Why am I still sat here feeling so incapable of everything and anything in the world? Because when it came to like the things that I love doing, like for example, the podcast, or like playing my guitar and learning songs on the guitar, or like reading or whatever it is, all the things that I loved doing, I just hated doing them. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to hear it. That's probably why I procrastinated season 2. Anyway, we're here. But yeah, I just literally hated doing everything that I did. So I was like, okay, maybe I hate it because I've made it so intense when it doesn't need to be intense. What if I just be an average person? Like, what if I just, and I say average and I feel like that has negative connotation, but like, what if I just do what I'm supposed to do and it's just study? Like, like, why can't I just study and get my degree and see where that takes me instead of trying to become superwoman tomorrow? You know what I mean? So I entertained this idea for like a day. I think it only lasted like a day. And then I got to a point where I was like, I literally feel like I'm not even existing anymore. Like, I just felt so confused and so lost in my life. And I was just trying to be like, figure out like, okay, what are we missing? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I can't be feeling like this forever. Then after a failed attempt of just trying to do nothing except what I'm supposed to be doing, I came across this YouTube video, and it was kind of like, it was this doctor, and I think he was like a psychiatrist or something like that. And for the longest time, I kind of banned in this whole like I guess phase of I don't know, going through a villain arc or just being angry in general and trying to figure out how I got here. I banned all self-development, self-help content from coming to my YouTube, Pinterest. Like I started unfollowing accounts that bring all of these like self-development, like improvement things. I was like, no, this is too much. I think I've literally just filled my brain with all of that now I don't know where to put it and it means nothing to me because I've just been consuming this like so obsessively for so long. So I just kind of banned all of that. But then one came through on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Let's just watch this. And I don't know, it was just kind of talking about, I don't really even remember what it was talking about. I just remember like the specific parts when, when you're watching something, but you're not really watching something. You're just thinking as you're watching something. And then I remember the part where I zoned back in, and I guess they were kind of just talking about effort and trying and why it's so easy for people to give up. And I was like, okay, so I've tried, not caring. I've tried being, a villain and just being angry and being whatever. I've tried putting aside any extra stuff that I put on my plate and just do what I'm supposed to do. None of it has worked. So I was like, okay, what if I just go back to being that person that's trying very hard? Then I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. So I set an alarm. This was actually jokes. I set an alarm for the next day, and I'm like, we're gonna wake up early, we're gonna do all of this stuff, and instead of just waking up early, because I usually just make it to wake up early, I'm very consistent with the waking up. After the waking up and showering and getting ready for the day, I literally just go back to bed. That's literally what I do. I wake up, like I'll be up at 5 a.m. I will shower, I'll make myself a great meal, and I will go back to sleep. So I was like, okay, let's not go back to sleep. Let's actually do something with our life. So I put all the things that I was supposed to be doing in the day, and I was like, okay, we got this. So I go to sleep, alarm goes off, wake up, and I start doing all these things. I start, doing my work. I start doing, and I was just mainly based on like schoolwork. I didn't do involve any projects or whatever. I make it sound like I'm doing a lot with my life. I really am not. When I say projects, I'm talking about the podcast or like, I don't know, music, learning guitar stuff, or French. I'm manifesting this. One day I will be a fluent French speaker. Mark my words. Anyway, so I just start doing all this stuff, and then at the end of it, I go to sleep and I still feel nothing. I still feel like the same way as I do when I wake up and I sleep and I do nothing and I rot in bed for the whole week. I still felt the same. So I'm like, okay, let's just repeat it tomorrow and see how it goes. So do the same thing. We're up early. We make breakfast. We study. We do whatever we need to do. The day is done. Go to bed early. Sit in bed. And then I'm like, I still feel the same. I still feel exactly the same. And then I was like, okay, what if I start to incorporate the things that I used to love doing? What if I film an episode? What if I don't know, do some scales on the guitar? What if I learn a new song on the guitar? What if I do all of these things? So I like go on my to-do list for the next day and I start putting in all of these things. Then I wake up, right? I'm ready for the day. Everything's great. I sit down and it's time to like do all the things that used to make me happy. And I just can't bring myself to do it. I physically, emotionally, mentally, I just could not bring myself to do it. And I think my brain literally shut down. And I've never felt so defeated in my life. And I went back into bed and I literally spent the day like in bed, kind of rotting, not caring. I was just like, I'm not gonna do this. I don't know. Maybe this is the end. Maybe it's the end of the podcast. Maybe this is the end of anything I've ever liked in my life. Do I even like the things I used to like in my life? Because everything, and this is the thing that links back to all of the things that I said at the start, everything links back to the fact that I have never, not once in my 20 years, lived a single day for myself. It's always been for someone else. It's always been, trying to make someone else happy. If I'm attempting to get really good grades or attempting to be really good on the basketball team, it's all because in my head I was like, that's what Gabby's supposed to be doing. That's what people expect me to do. But have I ever actually liked basketball? Have I ever actually liked track? Have I ever actually liked playing guitar? Have I ever actually wanted to have a podcast? Or did I just do all these things because, well, that's what Gabby does? She just does a lot of stuff. Like, I was just really I really did a number on myself and I really freaked myself out because I was like, so what even am I as a human being? Like, I was just spooked. And I guess that's when I realized that my procrastination has nothing to do with me being angry or me being unable to, I don't know, to get out of bed or me being unable to whatever. I think it was so deeply rooted in the fact that if I get back to doing the things that I love doing and I feel the same way as I do right now when I'm not doing anything and I'm very lost, and the same way that I do when I get up and I actually get my schoolwork done and I still at the end of the day feel nothing, if I actually were to attempt doing everything that I love doing and at the end of the day I feel nothing, I think that would literally just destroy my whole existence. And I literally don't think I'd be able to come back from that day. Because, I mean, who would be able to come back from that day, So then I think at this point I kind of like started to understand my anger better and why I was so angry at everything and everyone. And I think because I started to realize that everything was so connected, everything in my life and everything that I did was so connected to pleasing people and so connected to being exceptional in order to feel like I'm worth something. Because I'd gotten to that point where I was aware that I do everything for everyone and I think too much about everyone and not enough about myself, because I took myself out of that place, I started to realize how angry at everyone that I was because I had been living every single waking second for everyone else. And I was like, okay, has anyone ever put me at the level that I put them? And I remember the moment where I was like, holy, so I'm angry at everyone. Because I'll finally come to my senses and I'll finally realize that no one is ever going to try that hard to be what I was for people, for myself. And that's when I was kind of like, okay, actually, screw the world, you know? Because I do remember at the start of 2024, it was kind of the year of like, okay, let's actually just attempt to start living life for ourselves and attempt to just like stop caring too much about people. And yeah, and I guess that's where the anger came from. It came from realizing that, damn, I've been trying too hard. And I think I've finally stepped out of that place where I care what people think. And now I'm realizing that for whatever reason, which I think is not gonna last, obviously, but I'm just angry at everyone for that. And I'm angry at the universe for that because I finally gained some common sense and realized that I was doing way too much. And literally, my whole life became about everyone else in the world and not about me. Or what became about what everyone thought I should be, or became about just anything or any idea or whatever it is. But it's funny because it's like a lot of this, when it comes to, even when it comes to insecurities, you know, and when it comes to things like that, it's kind of like these are things that you tell yourself people are thinking, but no one's necessarily thinking that, you know what I mean? So I think it was just one of those situations where I was just way in over my head, but it ran so deep for so many years that I just woke up one day and I was actually like, actually, human beings are actually just trash. Not actually, but you get what I mean. Anyway, the whole point of this episode and the whole point of this storyline of my life was basically to, I guess, kind of shine a light on the fact that sometimes you don't realize just how much you're living for everyone else. And like, I guess I'm thankful that I was able to like have this realization at 20 instead of like 40, you know? But I think a lot of us just, as I said at the very start, a lot of us base our identity and like our self-worth and everything we are off of what we achieve. And that's just so insane. It's just so insane. It really is insane. So I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm just kind of realizing that, like, you know, we need to stop living in this kind of reality that's based off of the next thing or based off of success or based off of where we're going. I say this because at the end of the day, even if you achieve what you want to achieve, even if you get to that place where you're able to feel like you've really done it, you know, that will become a normal state for you. Like, if your goal is to become a billionaire, you'll become a billionaire, and being a billionaire will become normal to you one day. Do you see what I mean? And it's almost going to become as normal as how it was before you were a billionaire. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, because you have it now, you're kind of like, well, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that success is always going to be there. But if you can't learn to just be comfortable in where you are right now, without any expectations, without thinking about what you're supposed to be doing, what you aren't doing, who you are, whatever. If you're not able to be content in where you are right now, I promise you, when you get to that place that you think you're supposed to be at, you're not gonna feel any better. And I think my whole life and these whole 20 years have just been me trying to consistently, you know, get to this place where things will feel better. I'll feel like proud of myself, or I'll finally feel like I've achieved something, or I'll finally be able to look at my success and be like, well done, Gabby, like you've done great, like well done, love you so much. I've just really been trying to keep getting to that place. And then I get to that place, but it never really feels like it doesn't really feel like anything big or anything at all. You know, it just feels like another day, another life. And I think sometimes that can be very isolating, especially when expect yourself to feel better or to feel more fulfilled when you do get to that place. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, life is always gonna be hard. Success is always gonna be there. But the right now, like if you don't figure out how to be content in right now and the way you are as a human being naturally, if you just keep living for everyone else and you just keep chasing this idea of success, and I'm not saying don't chase success. At the end of this, I still want to be rich, you know? Like, I'm still going to chase that success, you know? I'm still going to chase all these things that I want to do. But if you can't sit in what you are right now, and you can't sit in all the good, all the bad, all the anger, all the whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, then I promise you, when you get there, you're not going to feel it. Like, it's just going to be another thing. It's just going to be another day. And you're still going to feel unfulfilled, and you're still going to feel like nothing makes sense. you know. So anyway, that's the moral of the story. Thank you so much for listening to my life story. I'm so sorry for that. I literally talked about my whole life story. Um, but yeah, I hope this was able to help with something or to put things into perspective or just kind of make you think and make you, I don't know, just look at your life and really evaluate if you're actually living for yourself and you're actually living in the now and not living in what you're supposed to be doing or what you're supposed to be achieving or what you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Just live in the now. Just breathe. Just be you. Anyway, I still haven't figured anything out. So if I come next episode and I'm telling you something different, just forgive me because I'm just trying to figure this out. Anyway, thank you so very much for listening to this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below. If you haven't checked out the Instagram, check out the Instagram. Everything's linked down below, and love you so very much. Bye.